Good evening, everyone. Ethan Stieber here with Stieber Weather Forecasting. Wanted to bring you an update now that we've got a little more information on Hurricane Francine as it's about to make landfall in southern Louisiana, and we'll kind of talk about the track of it as well as impacts for our weekend ahead. So first up on your screen is the satellite loop of Francine for about the last, six and a half hours. You see, as it is moving into Louisiana, it is still picking up some of that warm Gulf of Mexico moisture, and I believe it's making landfall at around a Category 2. Fairly intense storm that's developed over the last couple days. It will trek off to the north, according to the National Hurricane Center out of Miami. Here's Francine making landfall roughly as we speak. It will move off to the north, but notice, if you remember a couple days ago from the video, it wanted to track a little bit further up to the north, kind of into our neck of the woods. Now it's getting stalled out into northern Arkansas, maybe very southern Missouri, and that's because of these upper level winds that we'll see. So this is a map of upper level winds, kind of jet stream level type winds here. And notice we see these winds coming in through Texas and just north of where the hurricane is. Here's Francine getting ready to move into Louisiana as we speak. And watch as it moves further to the north. The upper level winds just kind of begin to rip it apart as it drifts further to the north, and notice by the time it's starting to impact us, we don't have much of a hurricane low pressure system left, and that's going to really impact our rain chances as we go further into the rest of this weekend. So what I've got for future radar here are two different runs of the same forecast model, and we'll see kind of how they've changed as we've went throughout the day today. First up is the midday run of the North American model. This is kind of our mid-range American model. Here comes Francine as we go into the afternoon hours tomorrow. Say as we get towards sunset, we'll start to see some rain pick up. Tomorrow looks to be a pretty cloudy day across the area because of Francine lifting off further to the north. Rain moves in as we get closer to sunset, like I said, and will start to become a little more widespread as we go into the evening hours on Thursday, approaching the midnight hour, and just after that. Rain then looks to clear up a little bit as we go into the daytime on Friday, but then pick up again Friday night before we see another round begin to move through later in the day on Saturday. There you can see that kind of starting to move in Saturday evening. Here's the afternoon run now. Same forecast model, just the afternoon run. That's gotten a little more data into it. Again, still showing rain moving in tomorrow evening, say around that sunset time, around 6, 7 o'clock. Rain becomes widespread across the area overnight tomorrow night. We may see a little bit of a break in the morning hours on Friday before rain starts to pick back up again a little bit Friday night. Here's about midnight Friday night. Notice maybe a little bit of a break again before the next round of showers begin to move in. Here's about noon on Friday, about 1 p.m. on Friday. And we see our next round of some showers and thunderstorms associated with the tropical system. So as far as what this is going to do for rainfall totals, I've got 4 different options to show you, and kind of I'll talk about which one I think is a little bit more probable. First up is the Canadian model. Notice it paints a really heavy rainfall totals across the area. Most of the area is seeing 2 to 3 inches out of this one. I think this one's overdoing it just a little bit. The Canadian model has kind of had a history of that as we've went through kind of the last couple of hurricanes. North American model, this is the one I just showed you. Notice much smaller amounts, but pay attention to these little bands of little pockets of heavier rain. These, 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch totals. This is where the heavier rain bands associated with the tropical system kind of have camped out. And that's something we're really going to have to watch for as the storm moves in. We're going to have to watch for where those heavier bands camp out and where they start to train over. Wherever those are, those will get a little bit higher rainfall totals out of this. 2 ensemble models left to show you. We do have, this one's the little shorter range American ensemble model. It's painting roughly 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch along that US 50 corridor. Higher amounts as you go further to the south, lower amounts as you go north of I-70. Same thing with the GFS ensembles. Again, 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, maybe pushing that 1 inch mark along that US 50 corridor. higher amounts, maybe pushing closer to that inch. South of Route 50, north of Route 50, especially north of I-60 or north of I-70, we get under those half-inch amounts. So you kind of get the picture. I think inch to inch and a half rainfall totals aren't out of the question here, and we'll see as some of this more higher res model begins to make itself available in the next 24 to 36 hours. That's why the National Weather Service still does have an excessive rainfall potential out for day 2 and day 3. Here's the day 2 outlook. Notice a marginal risk of some excessive rainfall, basically Route 50 and south. By day 3, this would be for the day on Friday. Everyone basically in the viewing area along and south of I-70 is under that marginal risk. All that means is we could see the potential for some heavier rainfall still associated with this system. So I'll keep you updated as we go a little bit further along into the future. Once some of the higher res models begin to see this storm as it moves further to the north, we'll update those rainfall totals as we move along. But generally speaking, look for rain to move in tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon, especially once we get towards the evening hours. Rain pretty well throughout the day Friday with some breaks here and there. Rain looks to die off Friday night with another round coming in sometime on Saturday. And as far as totals, around an inch, higher amounts as you go further to the south, lower as you go to the north. I'll keep you updated as we go further along into the future with this system.